Are you sure this is a good bust?
Yeah, cocaine. We're gonna go catch us some bad guys.
Welcome everyone, we're back again here in Film Asylum. We are your hosts, Colin Peters.
John Rashatter.
And of course, Jeff Manfred.
Well, as everybody is afraid of the coronavirus, we have braved the elements and we are here. I don't know if this is a smart decision or
We're at
not.
a loss of words right now.
But I have one question for you guys. What does katana mean?
Get the fuck out.
It's an honest question. What does it mean?
What does katana mean?
It means Japanese sword.
Well, actually, it's Japanese for sword.
Listen, no one gives a shit how it's said.
Well, with
He didn't get that.
with the way this movie is, I don't think they gave a shit at all.
Clearly, they didn't.
God.
We have a extreme cult classic that was known to be one of the well, no, it's not known. It is one of the worst movies that was ever made. This movie is so damn god awful that it's amazing that this was even filmed. Just the title alone is called Samurai Cop.
You know when you hear that, you found a gem.
This is totally a diamond in the rough. I mean,
I wouldn't even call it a diamond. I mean, like, you found charcoal in a bag of unburnt charcoal, all right? That's pretty much how...
It's fool's gold. It looks like gold, but it's not actual gold. I mean, this is regarded to be like the holy grail of cinematic trash. It manages to be the best and the worst movie of all time.
all right, this describes Samurai Cop perfectly. You guys ever watch the show American Dad? The same creators of Family Guy?
Yes.
Remember Roger the Alien? And how he shits gold and it has diamonds in it? That's what this movie is.
Shit, that is gold.
I mean, now, bear in mind, while this is a bad movie, it's incredibly entertaining. Because it's not just like every bad movie is entertaining. There are guilty pleasures. My ultimate guilty pleasure is Ready to Rumble, because I know it's a bad movie, but it's so damn fun and I laugh at it. There are movies that are so bad they're good. Movies like Samurai Cop, Miami Connection, Dangerous Men, just to name a few. But then there are movies that are a chore to sit through, that they're so hard to watch because of how boring and uninteresting they are.
Showgirls.
Showgirls, Birdemic, and Manos, The Hands of Fate. Those are movies that come to mind. It's a chore to sit through those bad movies because nothing's happening. But this movie, oh God, it's a movie that came out, I can't even tell, 1989 or 1991. I hear many different years when this movie came out.
Most of everything was saying 1991.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, it's hard to say. Because the way it's filmed, it looks like it's straight out of the 80s. Like, it's gritty, 35 millimeter. So it's like, I thought it was mid-80s until I had to look up the time, because I'm like, what the fuck?
I thought 1971. I thought early 70s this movie came out.
well, at one point it was filmed in the 80s and then they stopped production. They thought the movie was done. They wrapped. There was no wrap party. As a matter of fact, when they were filming, they didn't even know what location they were going to until the day of, and they were like, oh, where do you want me today? Oh, come here. Oh, okay. Are you sure? And
Let's fucking do this.
And then when it wrapped and it was done, 3 months later, they got a call back from the director, not knowing what it was, and here they said, oh, we're going to do some more reshoots. Which, by the way, the lead actor has long hair. He thought the movie was done and his agent suggested to cut his hair. So he cut his hair short, had no idea when he got called back that there were going to be reshoots, and the director was like, oh, what the fuck? You fucked up my movie. And he's like, what are you talking about? We got to do reshoots. So they went and bought some woman's wig, which is so blatantly obvious, and it just adds to this.
Dude, the hat on top of it made it even worse. Oh. It made it even worse.
It doesn't fit.
It almost came off during one of the fight scenes.
No, it did come off in one of the fight scenes, and they tried to put it back on. This is how bad it is. And there was a legend about this movie that it was done in one take.
So essentially, they pulled the Ed Wood. Like, if it fucking looked good, they went with it. Well, it didn't even look good, they still went with it.
What was the budget for this movie? $1,000? I'm gonna assume it was 1,000 or less. I mean,
How could they even film a movie for 1,000? Would they pay everybody $20 and say, good luck, here's enough for gas?
pretty much. I'm gonna assume that. I mean, this movie, it checks off all the boxes on what makes a bad movie. Terrible ADR. Lack of editing. Wait, what was there editing? I'm not really sure. Inconsistent lighting. There was none. It was too expensive for them.
Yeah, they shot during the day.
All the scenes take place during the daytime because they couldn't afford lighting to shoot at night. But you can tell when the scenes go back and forth, like there's a weird blue filter on one shot and then it goes right back to being daylight and it goes to orange to yellow. The color on the screen is so goddamn noticeable.
That's because they didn't filter anything out. They didn't use a matte box on the camera. They didn't use...
Many shots flare up because they shoot close to the sun.
Let's say even the fact that they didn't have guns. They literally had like 5, and literally during a gunfight, they would use the same guns on both sides. So they're watching like, oh yeah, boom, I can shoot this guy fine. Yeah, because you have the only gun in the fucking scene.
Even the poster has nothing to do with this movie.
Oh, you mean the Maniac Cop ripoff?
Yeah.
I saw that this morning. I'm like, how the fuck did they get away with that? I'm like, the only thing I could see is, was it Robert Zadar? He was in both movies. That was it.
Maniac Cop.
I was like, how? How could they be like, yes, this is what we're using? No.
It's so misleading, the poster.
Yeah, it's a picture of an actual cop with a samurai sword holding a severed head, and there's some Japanese writing on
On
it.
a badge below him. Oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah.
And there's barely any katanas actually in the movie.
I think there's 2.
Used by 3 different people.
Yeah. He's not wearing a police uniform in the movie at all. Never does.
Is he wearing a flight jacket or something? Like the bomber jacket at some point?
a bomber jacket? He wore a bunch of denim. I mean, or he's shirtless.
He's wearing a Canadian tuxedo 90% of this fucking movie.
Speedos. Ugh.
And there's no time where it actually takes place in a city. Like, there's a city background, but it looks like it was done, like, in the suburbs.
I believe it's supposed to be in Los Angeles, and he transferred from San Diego.
Yeah, it's briefly mentioned.
Like, you guys gotta watch other YouTube videos to really get a feel for this, because there is so much shit.
Or Amazon Prime has it right now. You can watch this fucking shit show for free. And the second movie. Yes, there are 2 other sequels that go with this fucking shit show.
And a Blu-ray release.
For everything.
To rent this movie, it's not even worth a dime. I'm glad it's free.
I am literally dumbfounded by this movie. Yeah. I mean, it, like they say, it fails at everything in making a movie. Mm-hmm. You cannot try to make this movie fail. But they did. They actually did.
Bland camera work, boom mic in the shot once or twice.
Wait, I didn't even see that.
Oh no, I saw it. I saw the boom mic.
I saw the shadows.
It's in between the windows.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then during like the helicopter sequence with Peggy's like flying the helicopter, like they have like binocular vision, but you can see something like sticking on the frame. A laughable script that for some reason couldn't even be memorized. Listen. I was trying to look for a moment where an actor was like had the script in front of him, was like looking down at his lines. I didn't see that, but a lot of actors
was
flubbed
there
their lines
really
up.
a script? This felt like it was shot in an afternoon, fucking by 5 assholes that really were just like, fuck it, let's just do this.
Well, nothing was storyboarded, but I'm sure there probably was a script. The actors do look directly at the camera multiple times, and it has pathetic sex scenes that aren't actual sex scenes. Their idea of a sex scene is just a guy and a girl rolling around a bed nude making out.
Today's.
Yeah, that's their idea of a sex scene. And this is all within 20 minutes of the runtime. You can find all of this shit I just mentioned in the first 20 minutes. Oh,
so they're trying to save this movie with gratuitous nudity and gratuitous violence, if you want to say. It's bad.
They clearly did no research about what actually happens in a police precinct, what the procedure is for
It looks like it was filmed in a convention hall. Because, like, they have carpet fucking everywhere. The chairs don't even match. I was like, oh, my God.
They're so obvious that when there were supposed to be people in the same location, when they would do close-ups, that you could tell they were different locations. The camera work was so damn bad. The close-ups, that's not even a close-up. They don't cut off at the forehead the way they're supposed to, and the faces are centered. You don't center a face in a close-up. You either have them slightly to the left or to the right, and they're dead smack in the middle with all this head space.
I know. I feel your pain, buddy. I really do.
Even when they're filming in a room, air quotes, because I'm doing it while I'm trying to talk. But it's the fact you can see that they're shooting into a corner of a totally different fucking room. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like, oh, this person's talking, let's show this person. And all of a sudden it's like, they'll show another person in another corner, which does not match the rest of the fucking room.
Absolutely not. The restaurant scene.
Yeah, that's the one that, like, sticks out to me right now. I'm like, ugh.
At the very beginning of the movie where they're at the bad guy's house... and they're all outside, and you look down and you see this tennis court. The main star is actually down at the tennis court going over lines or rehearsing.
Wait, no!
I swear to God, if you look down, it's confirmed that was the lead actor, Matt Hannon, who plays Joe Marshall, also known as Samurai in the movie, and he's practicing.
I'm fucking done. I might actually leave in this.
You can't leave. You're stuck in the Loomis room with all of us. Now, I think there's one reviewer I do follow. His name is Fanboy Flicks. His name is Mark from Toronto, Canada. He did a good review of this movie in 2 parts. I think he had the best quote of all the reviews I've seen. He said, and I quote, "I've never seen a film try so hard to not make sense."
Yeah.
It's dead on how true that is. I mean... yeah, we're at a loss of words for this movie. I gotta ask a question. When you first saw the intro or heard the intro music for this movie, did you want to play Sega Genesis?
Yes.
Or Super Nintendo? I did.
Yo, the 8-bit sound that they used, I was like, what the fuck? But I was like, maybe I'll pull it out later.
And even right off the bat, you're confused because it just cuts right to a character by the name of Akamura, played by Gerald Akamura. It just says, "We're not an established gang." And they just goes on about what it takes to be a gang. He even quotes Al Capone for some reason. And then we get the famous line from Red, played by an actress just named Cameron.
"Here comes the boss."
Yeah, nice aviator sunglasses, buddy. I can see the crew in the reflection.
Oh, and the mullet.
And the mullet. And then the next shot, they're gone. Probably because they could see the crew in the reflection. Another thing about this, okay, is there a plot? Well, I guess the basic plot is that this gang is, I guess, into drugs and cocaine.
What?
And
wait, there was something about... I just thought something stupid happened. They were like, we're going to kill people.
And then to stop the gang, they recruit a guy from San Diego, as we mentioned before, whose name is Samurai because he received his training from the Masters of Japan. The reason why they brought him in, just so they could specifically use him to bring the gang down.
And the gang is called the
Katana Gang.
Is it just the Katana Gang?
They're called the Katana Gang. Yeah. They're not Yakuza. They're not triads. They're the Katana Gang. Oh my God.
And they actually play that. I don't even know how to describe the scene because the emotions are just all over, if there are any fucking emotions. Yeah. But yeah, when it's so miscued yet, like I think at one point Joe Marshall, Samurai, says, "I'm a cop."
It's like, so what? Out of place. It's so out of place. Clearly they couldn't get enough Japanese actors to be in this Katana Gang because half the gang is Caucasian men and women. It's sad because then they decide to go to this location in Los Angeles to basically kill a rival Chinese gang that's like taking over their territory. Here's a quick fix. Why don't you bring those gang members from the Chinese gang into your gang and have it be another gang of like Caucasian people or African American or Hispanic? because clearly you didn't have enough Asian actors to be in your gang, so you had to have white American men and women in your gang, in a gang called the Katana Gang.
And the oldest fucking member has this amazing mullet the whole time.
It does.
Dude, it's bad. I mean, like, I didn't notice it till the end of the movie. I was just like, dude, this is fuck. Why is he even in the gang? He's like 900 years old. Like,
seriously. Oh, you gotta love the first classic ADR line from the one Chinese gang member.
In no way we go under Fujiyama's flag.
Dude, we can tell that's not your voice, man. That's the director trying to warp it in weird ways to make it sound Asian.
And not only was the director warping his voice, but he warped like 80% of those guys.
He did.
He used his own voice, tried to change it, and as he tried to warp it and make it sound different, he got this echo thing where it was like you hear these guys when Robert Zadar's character and the Red Girl, they leave the hospital. You get 4 people, no shit, at the same time going, hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute. Ah! Hey, wait a minute. Stop. Ah! Oh! Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute, doctor.
Yeah, and every time they get hit, it's like these typical cliche, oh!
It's so true. And then, okay, they kill the Chinese gang, and like the job is done. Like we don't even see the bodies.
No,
They're
they
just
don't
gone.
even kill him. The one dude gets stabbed, who's like the leader.
Yeah.
And you see him walk away.
The one guy got shot though, but you never see his body.
But the main guy in charge just walks away. He could have survived, and they just have these random cuts. There are so many random cuts in this movie. Like you think there would be some build up to show some tension and then the ease. No, it just cuts to Robert Zadar going, job is done. Then it cuts to a police sign.
About that police sign, I could tell that they were working with very little film, because right before the shot cuts to Frank and Samurai in the next scene, it clearly starts flaring up, because when the motor's stopping, they didn't let it run off in enough time, because I know when you're editing a movie, you'd like to maybe give a second or two after the director yells cut to give some room for buffer. But it just starts flaring out at the very last second with the police logo. They had no budget for this movie. They had nothing.
you can see it clearly when you're watching this. It's bad.
I love like the build up to this whole drug bust that they're doing. You know, they go to this marina when they're waiting for this boat to come to the dock. The camera's panning over with some really shitty shots of some ships like just cutting in front of the screen, and there's a helicopter above with Peggy, the one female cop who's just designed just to be there to basically have sex with Samurai Cop and other people. Oh, God.
The boat actually has a rental service advertisement on the side. So these drug dealers are renting the boat.
Mm-hmm. You never actually see drugs. You just see suitcases.
No. Well, there was
with a greasy handprint all over the side of that fucking suitcase too.
Well, there was a scene where Okamura, where Joe Marshall and his partner Frank, who are basically ripoffs of Riggs and Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, this movie rips off a lot of 80s action movies. Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 being the biggest. I mean, there's First Blood, Beverly Hills Cop, American Ninja. Have you seen American Ninja?
I don't want to.
It's a horrible movie. Like, this apparently is where the supporting cast of Grease went to after that movie was done. But the action scenes are somewhat competently helmed, but I can't help but notice that this movie clearly ripped off a lot of scenes from that bad movie as well.
But man, when they chase Okamura in his house, and which is so, oh my god, they walk in on him as he's attempting to have sex with a woman
who looks uncomfortable.
He's in his underwear. As he runs off from the police, he quick grabs his clothes on the way out, and then the next scene, he's fully clothed. He grabs a briefcase, a random fucking briefcase, and jumps through a window to escape. And at one point, he opens the briefcase up, and there's a gun in it, and on top of it, the gun only has 2 rounds. Like, why wouldn't it just be a gun laying around? No, he has to grab this briefcase, and we were thinking, oh, like, is there a bomb in it? No, it's just a gun.
Oh,
Maybe they were supposed to imply that was also the drugs, but clearly when he opens it, it's a gun.
Fucking revolver.
Oh my gosh.
With 2 rounds in it.
Who the fuck just has 2 rounds waiting in a gun in a briefcase? That is like fucking stupid with extra steps.
They couldn't afford more bullets. They
could have just thrown bullets at this point. I don't even care. Could have been finger guns and probably would have been more fun.
I know. There are shots when people are getting shot at, but nothing is hitting them. There's like no fake squib effect. There's like one squib effect for like one actor.
It wasn't even a squib effect. It was a paintball gun.
Of course.
They could have used it the entire movie then.
Oh, God.
Oh, and the death scenes, the...
The dude falling out of the van after getting shot.
Oh my God.
What the fuck was this? He's like, I'm like, dude, you died 5 times before you fell out of the van.
Hold on!
You got him!
Hey, hold on!
Hey, man, watch it! Watch it! Oh man!
This chase scene. Oh, about that chase scene. So they find the van. It looks like it's the studio van, but they spray painted an important icon in that van, like black, just so it wouldn't register in the movie to make it look like it wasn't the studio van, but it was. They painted it black. As it's driving on, you can tell the scenes are under crank because it's happening a lot. To make it look like it's happening faster than it actually is, just to add up to the suspense. Oh, you get the shoot him, shoot him,
Shoot him! Shoot! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him! You got it.
Yeah, I got the best.
What, they just keep looping that scene?
They had to have. Yeah. Also, the guy's shooting a shotgun at the car, but you don't see like any windshield damage or any sort of like parts of the car getting blown off. The guy's just missing, even though he's like 3 feet away, firing a 12 gauge, pretty much at close range. Another thing about these bad movies is that they seem to just throw out the laws of physics completely, because every time a car gets tipped over or hits something, it has to blow up. Kind of like in Silent Night, Deadly Night, where the famous scene, the garbage day scene, where he shoots the car and it does a barrel roll, and as it goes back on its 4 tires, it just blows up for no reason. This van crashes into a hillside, just blows up for no fucking reason. It just blows up. The guy got shot in the neck by Frank. He's on fire.
Wasn't it twice?
Maybe it was twice. For
I was like, you see the blood coming out the side of like they keep shooting him in the neck, and I'm like, how is he still driving?
Yeah, guys, great motivation for trying to put this guy out. You're really taking your time. They throw a blanket over him with a fire extinguisher. It's now a Caucasian guy. It's no longer an Hispanic gentleman. Peggy's saying, good job, guys. Good job at what? You just killed a bunch of people and made no arrests.
And on top of it, you see the stunt guy who was on fire just looking up like, are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah, are we done?
And to cover that up, they take the blanket they're using to just cover his face. I'm like, oh, sweet mother of God.
And like Samurai Cop is talking to Peggy, even though she's like 1,000 feet in the air in a helicopter. Yeah, she can clearly read your lips from down there. You're not in the car anymore talking on the communicator. You're just talking to her like she's 3 feet away from you.
And she's like keeping up with these sexual
innuendos?
Okay, Joe. Keep it up.
Oh, it's up and ready. You just keep it warm.
It's warm and ready.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Then it cuts right to like the first implied sex scene. It's not sex. It's just...
And you see the gaff tape. You see gaff tape on the blinds, on the window. Even in Joe's car, the fucking gaff tape is so visible. It's like... but the sex scene on the window blind, I'm like... Like, are we just supposed to stare at this chick's tits and just be totally distracted? But I don't understand.
Right.
Or was it supposed to be blocking? I don't know.
Don't pay attention to anything you've just seen. Just focus on the implied sex scenes. That's what the director was trying to do. Oh, God. Oh. And then, you actually start learning a little bit about Joe Marshall from exposition from Yamashita, who says his name is Joe Marshall. He received his training from the Masters of Japan. He speaks fluent Japanese. No, he doesn't. He doesn't speak a lick of that shit. I mean, this is just exposition for the movie itself. I do like how at least Matt Hannon is a good sport about all this. How I know this is because a couple months ago, I followed him on Twitter at one point. I think I still do, though. But anyway, there was a high school student that reached out to him on Twitter saying, "Hey, Matt Hannon, whatever your Twitter name is, I'm trying to do a paper for my high school English class, and I'm doing it on Samurai Cop, and I was hoping you could give me a quote." Matt Hannon gets back to him and says, "Hey, so-and-so, are you trying to fail this class?"
Dude, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Too bad he was in this bad movie.
He had some pretty cool backstories in interviews now. I know when he was telling a story about people asking him, "What did you do after Samurai Cop as your next gig?" And he said, I hid.
I went into hiding.
He confirmed that the movie was one take, and there were times where he was so frustrated he knew it was a stupid movie, but he saw that it had quite a bit of screen time, and the director, Amir Shervan,
yeah.
actually had a reputation for paying his actors pretty well, so he thought, okay,
That's shocking to me.
Isn't it?
It really is.
This whole movie feels like it's a very like sexist viewpoint. Like this guy feels like it's a nightmare to work with. But apparently, if you say he paid his actors well,
I'm not saying the project went well, but
oh God!
But at least they got compensated for it.
It makes me wonder if they got a percentage after the fact. Like they probably didn't pay him up front, type thing. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Whatever we get out of this movie, you guys will get a cut. I promise." Yes. Wink, wink.
Oh.
But he said that he deliberately, after a while, did bad takes because he figured, if I just be so bad, it won't make it into the movie. And Amir put everything into the movie. They used shots from the same locations, changed angles, the random cuts.
It's baffling how this movie got made. It really is.
Chris Stuckman said it best. He's a famous YouTube movie reviewer. When he was doing this thing, he repeated himself. He goes, "Where do I start?"
It's a good question. It's an honest question.
And during his review, he goes, "I'm constantly in shock."
I was too when I saw this movie. I struggled to find anything positive, even about the worst movie of all time. I try to find something positive. I can only find two things. One, Robert Zadar has experience. I can tell that he actually has experience as an actor. Even though he's not good in the movie, I can tell that his performance is better than most people in this movie. And the women are good-looking women, even though they're strippers and they don't have a single acting bone in their body.
Every woman in the movie they look like a porn star.
They do. They really do.
Even the nurses, they have short skirts on and high heels, and they're walking around the hospital.
It's like they just came off of another shoot, and then they just were recruited to be day players for this movie for one day.
And the lines in the movie.
Oh my God.
The lines in the movie are so god-awful. And some are ad-libbed yet.
You like what you see.
Yeah.
I love what I see.
That's the worst scene in the movie. It's indescribable how bad this encounter with the nurse is.
Do you like what you see?
I love what I see.
Would you like to touch what you see?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to go out with me?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to fuck me?
Bingo.
He's there to basically just bang every woman. He's a terrible character. He's awful to women. He just goes from one woman to the next woman. In fact, it's even in the one scene after Fujiyama's asking for the guy who was driving the van to have his head cut off because he doesn't want to talk or anything. I wanted to see that guy's severed head on the piano, and I never got it. I was so angry. Yamashita says,
"I will bring you his head and I will place it on your piano."
He doesn't do it. It goes to the police scene, and then...
wait, you got to bring up, Yamashita is played by Robert Zadar.
Yes.
Listen to the name.
Yamashita.
Played by Robert Zadar.
He's an American actor. playing a Japanese character who apparently is also very skilled in the art of martial arts and hand-to-hand combat and swordplay. He's very good at all that stuff too, because even Fujiyama points out, I know there's a samurai in you too. This guy named Samurai can't stand up to you. Like, oh my god, dude, shut up. Just shut up right now. Seriously, you're not intimidating at all.
Sorry, every time Zadar's in a scene, I can't get past the fact his chin is bigger than the rest of his fucking body. I'm watching this and I'm like, there's something wrong with this fucking guy. Then I'm like looking, it's like his chin seems like it's fucking so big it doesn't fit his body.
Like we said before, like the moments that are actually funny are the ones that are improv, especially when like another woman from the police precinct comes into the room where Samurai's talking. He touches her hair, then swats his own hand away because Peggy's watching him. Like, hey, you dick, you were just with me the other day.
Literally the day. Actually, I think it was that morning.
Maybe it was that morning. I don't know how the timeline of this movie works. I don't think there is none.
I don't even think that. Yeah, I don't even think there's a timeline.
There's no timeline.
Because like as we're talking about it, my brain's going, what the fuck? Because it's like trying to figure out where everything plays out. It seems like it was in 12 hours this entire fucking movie happened.
Maybe it was. We were talking about before, the fucking scene with the nurse is indescribable. I'm pretty sure that was a hooker that gagged a nurse, stole her identity, grabbed Samurai's junk, and just said she felt nothing, and then walked off camera. There's no purpose for this scene being in the movie at all. Frank's goddamn reactions looking at the camera with him doing those weird faces and smirks.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And then the guy on the bed behind him is burnt. He looks like they jammed a jelly donut in his fucking mouth to give that bloody fucking look. I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh my god. I think it was a jelly donut. If you look at it closely, it was just jammed in there.
Oh, God.
That was probably craft services.
Red and Yamashita, they go into the room and they start to cut the guy's head off. Apparently he can fit in a laundry bin.
And the room that they got, they said that Amir, the director, bullshitted his way into an urgent care facility. That's why at one point you see the door next to that little emergency room was a dental office.
Yo, I saw that this morning and I was like, no. Oh, it is.
Joe and Frank go to a restaurant to confront Fujiyama. And that's another scene where you see Joe Marshall, who is fluent in Japanese, go, are you Fujiyama?
He calls a guy Omaha and Yamaha.
So anyway, you get on the phone and you tell me that these, what's his name, Omaha, Yamaha, whatever his name is, right? Are you Fujiyama?
He knows nothing about the Japanese language at all.
Sees this very attractive blonde girl that's there that Fujiyama's hitting on because supposedly her dad owned this restaurant before and he died, leaving her and her mom $400,000 in debt. So Fujiyama, for some reason, knew about this and paid off the debt. But yet she apparently owns the restaurant, even though she does say, I guess in a way he owns it. It's like, well, yeah, he's part of a gang yet.
And you're okay with this?
Yeah, and he's putting moves on her. She wants nothing to do with it.
Well, yeah, because he's like 900 years old too, with a bad mullet.
He bought her a gift, like an early birthday present, because we are told that it is her birthday coming up on Sunday.
After church.
After church, yes, after church, because she's a good, honest, church-going woman. No, she's not.
And at one point, Joe goes and sees her in her office, and here there's this random lion that looks like some arts and crafts project.
It's more distracting than the actual scene.
And it kind of gets its own close-up.
It's so bad.
This is the gift.
It's like a third grader made that like over the course of 2 weeks, or they had like his friends contribute making it, and like the mom got involved in making this stupid lion head made of yarn and plaster. Oh my god, it's terrible.
The prop arm with the guy who gets his arm cut off, he has no emotion at all. Yamashita sends a bunch of guys to fight Joe and Frank, and they fight him off, and the last guy has a revolver and just gives this really monotone, bland,
Freeze you motherfuckers! Leave him alone!
And Joe, somewhere, somehow, one guy has a random katana sword.
He pulled it out of the back of a truck.
And Joe snags it and just his facial, dude, Matt Hannon's facial expressions were the best. I can't.
He's so angry.
I can't even do him justice, but they are literally the best obnoxious angry faces, and he cuts the dude's arm off.
It's not even like bendable. It's just like a straight piece of wood with like some shirt fabric wrapped over it and a fake hand at the end with some blood on it. That's all it is. Why didn't you just shoot the guys already? You had the jump on them. You had a gun. You're saying, freeze you motherfuckers, leave them alone. You could have just shot him. Frank had already shot one guy in the neck. What's stopping you from killing them? Oh, that's right. The script.
Oh, Jesus.
Nothing beats the wig. There are action scenes with this wig.
Is this when he says, I'm going to get some people from Harlem up here? And it has all those guys just run up the stairs at him?
Oh, yeah. That's that. Yeah, he does. Because they're incompetent themselves. They can't shoot their guns properly. They have to bring another gang of idiots from Harlem to stop him. In some weird scene in an editing room, I was scratching my head as to what is happening here.
The guy in this editing room, that part makes absolutely no sense. And the dude who's going through the film stuff, he literally looks like Walt Disney. And and I found out that was dubbed by Mark Fraser, who plays Frank.
Who could shoot this in a mafia boss's house?
Oh my god. It doesn't sound like the guy's voice. Yeah, it's so obvious ADR. There's another awful ADR moment that happened before this, and it was like with Red and Yamashita escaping the hospital. How they're outside the car, you hear dialogue, but their mouths aren't moving. And then he beat up those 4 guys that were like designed to stop anybody from going into that room. He cuts the guy's head off. There's no music, but you expect there to be music during this decapitation scene. Like, you could have easily put those dun-dun-dun-dun in there, and it would have made it kind of more entertaining.
They didn't even put a sound effect in.
No!
Dude,
it's
like
just
a hot
dead
knife through
air.
butter.
It's dead air. It's, oh god. And then there was one moment that made me laugh out loud is when they're driving away.
Moment?
Yeah, the one moment that was improvised. Robert Zadar starts waving at the people he just beat up in the hospital parking lot.
Listen, I've said this before. Steven Seagal is cock puncher, but Zadar, I think it took it on the. I think Zadar took it in this movie. He straight up like punched those guys in the neck and the dick. I don't even know how at the same time.
We forgot about one other important character in this movie, the captain. I call him Captain Clueless, because hate to break it to you, buddy, but nobody lost a fucking hand. Even though, an officer lost his hand. Like, no, they didn't. No one lost a fucking hand. Yeah, some guy got his head chopped off. Oh, what a great screenplay. And he flubbed his lined up.
From San Diego to fight the Japanese katana gang.
And at the very end of the take, he gets kissed on the head. And he goes, "You motherfuckers!" And he just pauses there.
Because he was expecting the director to say cut, but he didn't cut.
You son of a bitch! Come back here, you motherfucker!
Because in film etiquette, in a professional sense, an actor waits until the director says cut.
They should.
No matter what.
And then he sits down with a smile on his face.
He was expecting them to say cut. He's like, okay, because he's not going to say cut. I'm just going to try and act some more, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you'd think that they would do actual investigation work about what real cops do. I was almost waiting for the characters Bob and Bob from Mike Judge's Office Space to come in here, have everybody sit down in front of them and say, so, guys, what exactly is it you do here? We kill people, bang women, and tell jokes. Okay, we're going to clean house and you're all fired. You're all useless. Let's make a spin-off in the vein of Police Academy and get another group of idiots to take over this precinct. Jesus Christ. Oh. And the other character, Preacher, he flubbed his line of saying...
There's this restaurant.
Like, dude, first of all, get your line out and wipe your fucking nose because I can see the snot right below your nostrils, man. Come on.
Oh, and when the Katana Gang goes to his house... For some reason, the Katana Gang wants to find Joe Marshall, so They go to that guy. What's that guy's name again?
Which guy?
The cop with the snot.
Preacher. I think they call him Preacher.
All right, yeah. They go to his house, and at one point they hold his wife hostage, saying, "Oh, we're gonna kill her if you don't give us Joe Marshall." And they like rip her shirt open, the flash her tit real quick. I know. Like, why?
But here's the thing about that whole scene. If you take notice, on the walls, it's all this like black belt martial arts stuff. He doesn't use it once. And then when I first introduced the character in this scene, he's lifting weights in his underwear.
Yeah.
And is that, I think, a wife beater?
A tank top wife beater, whatever.
And his wife is legitimately just bitching at him the whole time.
He's like lifting like a 5-pound weight in his one arm. Like, oh, he's really getting jacked for these guys. Why didn't you hear the guys coming into your house? Don't you have like a... No, you don't. They find out where he lived. I don't know how they found out where this associate lived.
Hold on. Then they go to, is it Peggy who was in the helicopter?
A little bit later, yeah, they go to her place.
The first chick Joe Marshall fucked.
Fuck.
Yeah. Goes to her, they go to her house, find her in the kitchen, and then she actually like holds her ground a little bit. And then she tries to open a drawer and have this... The drawer is empty except for a random gun. They have the worst static shot ever. And then when she actually makes an attempt to get the gun out, it's a revolver when before we saw a Beretta in there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And their way of torturing her is they lay her down on the counter and Robert Zadar takes...
Hot grease.
Hot grease.
Yeah.
And pours it on her stomach. And then she gives... I don't even know if it's Joe's address. I think it's Frank's address.
I thought it was Joe's address. I think they were specifically looking for Joe Marshall.
But they do go to Frank's house.
They go to Frank's house somehow. I don't know.
I don't even know.
It.
You know,
they split up to 3 different groups after they killed Preacher.
That's right, they did.
And then like I don't know where it happened in the third group, but one group went to fucking Peggy's house and the other went to Frank's house.
Don't you just love Preacher's acting when he sees his wife get her throat slit?
Sorry. Well, I love the implication that I don't even know what they imply. Like, did Peggy die or did they?
She didn't die. They let her live. Their thing is this whole code of silence where they kill their own people because they don't want them to talk, and they make sure that no survivors happen. But she survived with just some burn marks on her stomach.
And then at one point, they actually do go to Joe's house. Frank tries to warn him, but
you forgot the guys that show up at Frank's house. Frank's getting out of the shower. And they threaten to cut his dick off.
Hey, take it easy, man. Come on. Talk to me. What do you want?
I can kill you now, or I can relieve you of this gift.
Oh my god, about that. I didn't catch this at first, but when they go to Akamura's place, he's like sweating profusely as he's talking to Samurai. He's like,
this time he probably cut my dick too, huh?
Like, are you like trying to do some foreshadowing that you're about to get your dick cut off in some other scene later on in the movie?
And then Peggy has that great line.
You better come to my house before you report to the captain.
For what?
Let's use it before you lose it.
Oh, the humor's so bad in this movie. Wah, wah.
But then when the gang goes to Joe's house, he's been spending time with Jennifer, the girl who owns that restaurant that... whatever the fuck his name. I don't even know, dude.
Fujiyama.
Yeah.
Fujiyama.
Thank you.
Listen, I totally forgot fucking names. All I remember is Frank and Joe. You guys are naming new characters I'm just meeting for the first time.
But
they don't really mean anything.
But she's the one who had the restaurant. He waits for her after church. He doesn't even go in the church, but he dresses up in a suit and waits for her outside, takes her back to his place, which is a beachfront property, talks about how he killed his neighbor's chicken to make her lunch or whatever.
That's not creepy at all.
I have a neighbor next door, and she has farm animals. And what I did was I jumped the fence, and stole one of her chickens, and then killed it.
Great.
Because I really wanted to impress you.
Then they go to the beach, and of course he's in his Speedo, and she has a bikini, which I'm so happy that she took that to church with her, because I guess that was her indication that she was going to go to the beach no matter what.
Mind when she goes to church.
And they have another sex scene, I guess.
It's not a sex scene.
That's why I said I guess.
I get, oh god, with the most obvious pornographic music in the background.
And they're just rolling around kissing each other, and it's so weird.
It's off-putting. It's so off-putting. Don't forget, like, right before he got into his Sunday outfit, he just killed, like, an entire squad of Harlem gang members, and he's not doing any paperwork. They make no arrests. They attempt to arrest people, but they never actually bring anybody into the car.
They just kill everybody.
They just kill everybody. That's all they do. And the captain is screaming at them saying, I should have fired you guys because you brought no one into my custody. Why didn't you fire them? Why haven't you? What's stopping you from doing your job right now? Oh, that's right, the terrible screenplay.
The gang goes to Joe's house, and I
love how you're like trying to push forward, like, yo, this one's fucking rough, right?
But they go to his house, they escape, they're getting shot at and shit. I forget exactly how they escape, but it doesn't matter. I mean, because, yeah. So, but when Jennifer goes back to the restaurant, her mom's at the office, and she goes, where were you? And she's acting like everything's great. Like, oh, hey, I got a new boyfriend. I had a wonderful day.
She almost died like 5 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Oh, that was 5 minutes ago. She's fine.
She's totally fine. She's in love with Samurai because he's going to treat her right. He's never going to put her in any danger. Not take her to a safe house. Just take her back to Fujiyama's restaurant that he basically paid for.
And then Fujiyama walks in on her talking about him, and he gets pissed, and then he kidnaps her.
What about the mom? The mom she's just gone. She was just there for that one pointless scene. Like, did you kill the mom? Did you kidnap her? What did you do with the mom? Did you just say, oh, don't worry, I'm not here for you. I'm here for your daughter. Don't bother looking for her.
Yeah, I'm going to take her away, have a conversation, indefinitely.
Jesus God, I'm at a loss of words completely.
The captain, he's the one who tells Frank and Joe he said, just go kill him. He gives them permission to just go kill him.
I've lost all patience with everybody here. Just go kill them.
At this point, he's like, he already knows what they're gonna do. Fucking wow, Joe fucking killed how many people in a stairwell leading up to the other points? Like, how many people has Joe actually killed in this movie? Almost everybody. Almost
pretty much
everybody. I'm surprised he didn't try to kill Peggy and the captain just for no reason at all. Because, that's what he does.
The choreography, like what choreography? There's no fight choreography. There was nobody on set.
They tried to have choreography. Okamura is actually a master in some martial arts.
He provided most of the weapons for this movie too.
And they said you could tell that they just wanted to rush it, and he was like, "This is so horrible." Like he was itching to try to do this, do that. And
he has his own fight scene with Joe. Actually, I don't even call it a fight scene. I call it the because that's all you hear.
Dude, that was like a Power Ranger scene where you clearly saw they were in one specific location, and then just like the Megazord goes to another one just like that.
There are 3 different locations. 3 different locations where this entire fight scene takes place.
Dude, isn't the fight like 30 seconds though? Because it was short.
How do you not just go back to the first location where you first started the fight scene? How do you not just go back to the first place you started filming? You go to somewhere else to make it look like it's the same place, but it's clearly not. We're not idiots. We are not blind to what we're seeing on camera right now. Oh, brother.
This movie's gold.
The abrupt cuts, like, from one action scene, then there's the one, like, where Joe's about to finish off the rest of the Harlem gang. He jumps down, and then just cuts to Red taking her gown off. You could tell she was kind of uncomfortable doing this, and the director's notes were saying, well, we really need to have this scene, but here's a bottle of wine. This will help you, because I'm a really good director, and I want you to do this fucking scene with Yamashita, okay? Will you please get naked? Will you please just chug the bottle of wine for me? Do it for me, please? Thank you. Oh, God. Oh, good-looking woman, though, but she does not have an acting bone in her body, and it's... Why? Why do you go from one action scene to her just taking her gown off? I don't know why.
Titties.
I gotta ask, listening to you rant, I'm like, is this what I fucking sound like all the time? This is amazing.
That's what he did. He gave her a bottle of wine to loosen her up for the scene. That's terrible. That is absolutely horrible.
And that was before they go after Joe, or they go after the other cops to try to find Joe. Which, why wouldn't you just go to his partner's house alone? No, they go to 2 other people. But...
They gotta prolong it, the suspense.
Seriously.
Maybe those were the reshoots. Quote-unquote reshoots.
The only reason why the cops win is just because they can shoot their guns a little bit more accurately than the bad guys. Seriously, if the bad guys could actually aim in this movie, maybe they'd win. Maybe they'd win. No.
Well, hell, the cops were so damn stupid. At one point, Fujiyama, he's holding Jennifer, and as he's like walking with her as his hostage, you see Frank on a staircase, and he gives away his location.
He could have taken care of business right there.
Now that she loves you, you have to worry about her life, not me.
Neither do I.
It's like, you idiot! You could have waited until he caught it in the view and put the drop on him. No. Oh. You had to say something like, I don't have to worry about her either, or I don't know what.
There was some really terrible cameras. Like, you could tell the director was trying to be artsy with, like, the statue in the foreground, and then you can see Jennifer's face, and you can see Fujiyama's face in between the legs of, like, this marble statue, trying to be artsy, trying to be something fancy with the camera, but it's so painfully stupid what you're looking at. You're just distracted by the statue and their faces. Like, he was trying to be artistic. Like, it's like he was trying to do something different from what the other movie was like.
But at the beginning, there was the scene where they showed the outside shot of the hospital, and there are fucking trees in front of the shot.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't even give it an angle to just be like, here's the hospital in plain view. No, they let the palm trees in the shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, like, the way this movie looks, it looks like it was shot guerrilla style. They didn't have a fucking... any right to do any of this movie.
It was shot wild, and they just dubbed in the lines later on. Like, they had a boom mic, because I saw the shadow of the boom mic in one shot, so they had sound in some scenes.
Well, the locations were director Amir's friends' places. Like, it was the preacher's house. That was actually a friend of his who was a martial arts artist who had the house.
Of course.
The scene where Akamura was running out, and you see that Defender arcade game, that was Amir's office.
Oh my god.
I know they say it's distracting, but I mean, I'm like, I could actually see an arcade in somebody's office. Yeah, I mean, really, weirder things have happened.
I love that scene where Akamura's running away from it, and then you just get, like, the next shot of, like, a tighter shot in the doorway. A guy just appears out of nowhere, shoots the gun at nothing, and it just clicks. Like, you were just sitting down with your buddies, playing cards, drinking lemonade, and eating donuts. You know, what typical gang members do. There's no cigar smoking. There's no cocaine just splayed out in front of them. There's no money. No, there's not even loaded guns, lemonade, donuts, and it's so quick. It's almost like he doesn't want you to see how stupid everything is in the foreground. Just to have this one shot. But he knows nothing about what it takes to be in a gang, or he knows nothing about what typical gang members do. They drink lemonade and eat donuts. That's what they do.
Maybe that's the joke. Maybe that's all it was this whole time.
Mind blown. That's the whole point of this movie. It was filmed for a joke. It's so true. It's not the first time that's happened, though, where you get, like, one shot and then some guy just appears in the same shot magically out of nowhere, out of thin air. Dude, you could have at least tried to make sure your gun was loaded before you shot at Samurai, and then he just blew you away and you're dead. Where did we leave off?
I don't know. We got back.
How do we continue?
Yeah, we're not telling this movie in sequence, but how?
How can you?
I've said it before. There probably was a script, but there's no point to this fucking movie.
If we would really break this movie down, this would easily be an 8-hour episode.
We could probably watch the movie again while we're talking about it, and then continue to bitch about it.
You guys gotta see this movie to believe it.
You really do. It's 90 minutes long, but it might as well be 60 minutes long because of all the shit that could have been cut out of it.
But it's worth it.
It's totally worth it. It really is. Like we said, this is a recommendation for anybody who gets a kick out of watching bad movies or loves critiquing bad movies. Get together with a large group of people, have alcohol involved if you're into that sort of thing, and have fun.
Do your own commentary to it, because there's been a couple of them out there already for this. Have a samurai cop party.
Showgirls party. Have a samurai cop party next.
Hey, end that. Kill it. Kill it. We're talking about motherfucking samurai cop.
Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Oh, you got it.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, like, all we really are leading up to is the last fight between Joe and fuck his name,
Yamashita.
Yeah, I told you, fucking forgot names because like I done remember. I done.
So Fujiyama's dead because Frank was wearing a bulletproof vest, I guess, somehow, and he just shot him. And Jennifer's totally okay and not freaked out by any of this. And, you know, she's like, I'm going to stay with you, Samurai, because you just saved my life, and you're never going to put my life in jeopardy ever again. Well, first of all, we got to kill Yamashita. We don't know where he lives. We're just going to go house to house and find out if this is where he lives. They probably killed, like, hundreds of people just to get to Yamashita's house. Like, is this the guy's place? Maybe it is. We're just going on a hunch.
Isn't there like a little shack in the middle of nowhere too?
Yeah.
Then?
And the gang members just say, "Hey, it's lunchtime."
Hey, come on, it's lunchtime.
Yo, take your break. It's time for lunch. Fucking, it was that old dude with the mullet. He's like, time for break, buddy. Come up.
Yeah. I could have swore that was the guy that got shot at Joe's house who died in the pool.
It probably was.
I think it was. Like, he had
recycled him.
He was on the diving board, and he just, like, lazily falls off the diving board and just plunges into the pool. And now he's appearing in the final scene with Yamashita's gang, and he shows up in a Suzuki Samurai. That's worth noting.
Yeah.
A terrible garbage car, just like this movie. A Suzuki Samurai.
But then there's a big fight scene between Joe and Yamashita. We actually get a sword fight.
Dude, it is lazy. It is the laziest fucking sword fight ever. It looks like something I could film in the backyard with 2 sticks, and it would probably be the same outcome.
It'd be more convincing with sticks.
Yeah, because they're just like half-assing this fight. Like, you could see, like, sword on sword, it's just like, I'm gonna lightly just, like, they didn't want to damage anything. Like, we gotta return these later.
I know.
They sped up the
footage to make it look like it's faster.
Thought. I was like, look,
it's undercranked. The camera is undercranked. That's how they do it.
And the facial reactions on Joe Marshall. That it's like that Dragon Ball Z constipation.
Different times have come by. Like, you could tell this was like towards the end of the day, or it was like the very beginning of the day. It gets from like light morning to late morning to light afternoon. Oh my God, there's no consistency in the time flow of this sequence, any of the sequences that you see.
There's really not a dramatic moment to the fight. I don't even know exactly how. There's like a struggle, and Joe,
they
like,
punch each other a couple times.
Yeah, but somehow Joe has the sword pointed at Yamashita, and he's all like, "Oh no!" But he falls down at some point, and he's like, "You lost." and Yamashita's all like, "Oh, kill me."
Hold on. Because right before that sequence, they had the shitty sword fight. They fought hand to hand, then picked the swords up again. Continued the shitty sword fight. Mm-hmm. They did this weird twirling thing where their blades touched, and they just kind of spun it around, and both fucking swords left. I'm like, I thought that was it with the swords, and I'm like, oh no. And then all of a sudden, Yamashita falls down. Is that the right dude?
Yeah, that's his name. You got it right. You got it right.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, I lost. I'm like, wait. Then you see Joe reach over and grab that fucking sword again and points it at him like, you lost. No. That's not how it works, but okay, guys.
But don't forget, Frank yells out, Joe, you're a cop. Wait a minute, so that's what he is? See, I didn't know that until now. I didn't realize that Joe was an actual cop who actually abides by the law. He does whatever the fuck he wants.
He just killed 37 people like it's nothing. And now, the last dude you want to stab in the fucking neck? And you're like, oh no, you're a cop, calm your tits.
And then they just like lazily shoehorn in this line about, do you know Bushido? Like, yes, I know Bushido. And he just pulls a dagger out and just plunges in his stomach. Like, oh my God, wait. No, let him do it. He wants to die with honor because clearly this guy has honor.
Yeah, because raping and torturing men and women and selling drugs is totally honorable.
It's very honorable. Because both these men possess the traits of a samurai.
Oh my god.
No, they don't. They have no shred of nobility or the customs of Japanese culture. They don't abide by any of that shit. They're just doing whatever the script tells them to do. And in case you couldn't tell that Yamashita's dead, the camera starts shaking in weird ways as it's zooming in on his face with the terrible music in the background. Then it just cuts to the beach sequence with Jennifer back in her bikini and Joe is back in his Speedo. And they start making out on a rock, which has to be very comfortable. And then, in case you couldn't tell what they're going to do, like, let me give you some imagery. Let's have some waves crashing against a rock. Explosion time. Boom! And it just cuts to the credit scene, and the movie's over.
Not even worried about his friends dying. Just worried about getting pussy.
Yep. Frank almost lost his dick. It didn't happen because the guys who held him hostage are idiots. I like to point out that the one guy who was holding Frank hostage looked like he just stole a revolver from, like, a museum in the Western exhibit. It looked like something Wyatt Earp would have in his collection, and he has it.
Oh my gosh! Like it's a single action, not a repeater. Like it looks fucking ancient. Like he'd probably throw the gun. It would probably do more damage than.
I have a body count.
You have a body.
I did have a body count. Now, I don't. If we're counting the Chinese gang that maybe got killed in the beginning and maybe didn't get killed, they said the job's done. So I'm going to assume that they're all dead. So if you throw those guys into play, the body count in this movie is 40. 40 even.
Hey, I wasn't far off.
You weren't far off when you said 37. Like, oh my god, he's actually close to the actual body count of this movie. Not Jennifer. Peggy's not counted because she just had some burns on her stomach and they didn't kill her because they just let her live, which is bizarre to me because they kill everybody that they encounter. Clearly they didn't kill her.
What a sexist movie.
Oh, Jesus. God, this movie. It honestly, at one point, broke me.
Wait, this movie broke you?
It broke me with how it failed at everything.
Whoa.
And at the end, I could tell they just rushed this entire ending. They were giving up. I can't tell if they were game for this movie in the very beginning, but in the last 20 minutes of the movie, it felt like they were just giving up. They're like, just film the shit so we can move on with our lives. Just do it. I don't care. Like, let's go to this location. It looks close enough to what we just did before. I don't give a shit. Just point the camera at something, hit the record button, turn off the record button, and then move on. That's all it is. Brother. Samurai Cop. The crown jewel of cinematic trash.
Yeah, hell, if it broke you, I was in stitches when I first saw this thing. I couldn't wait to tell Jeff about it.
Yeah, and like we watched it, and my wife wanted to murder him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No joke. Like she straight up still fucking wants to murder him because of this fucking movie. Put it this way: I asked her if she wanted to watch it with me yesterday. She said she would rather go to work and get the fucking coronavirus than watch this piece of shit fucking movie. You know where she's at? She went to work this morning.
I still like how your daughter watched the whole thing.
Oh my god, she was glued to that fucking screen. I'm like, listen, kid, there's better movies out there. I was calling her name. I actually sent pictures to these guys because she was staring at this movie, probably trying to comprehend what the fuck is going on.
She's probably thinking, Dad, quiet. They're getting to the restaurant scene.
Yeah.
I want to see the restaurant scene.
Yeah, it was like, it got to the point where I'm like, I was more interested in watching her watch this movie because I'm like, at some point she's going to stop. No. Like, literally, she moved around the room glued to this fucking screen.
After the quadruple homicide, she was thinking, oh, the restaurant's still open. Yay, that's good. There's no yellow tape. The whole area is not quarantined. It's people acting like nothing ever happened the other day. A car blew up. 4 people just died. They're cracking jokes about Frank's ass being burnt charcoal black.
Captain Roman's gonna burn my ass.
Yeah, he's gonna burn it charcoal black.
It is black. Right on.
All right, put it this way. Like, first time I watched this movie with Colin and my wife was actually done by the guys from Mystery Science Theater Riff Tracks. Well, they now recently have done it again as a live show, which I was watching this morning before these two showed up. And I'm like, I couldn't figure out what was missing because it's like, they had to add in a short at the beginning. So I got halfway through it and I realized they cut out all the nudity. I'm like, the best part about this goddamn movie, and they cut it out. And I got mad about it because it's like, because I'm watching this again. Like, yes, they're adding in their jokes. It's funny, but I'm like, but it's coming to a part where you're like, oh, something good's gonna happen. No, it's not happening now. I think straight away to cut to something else. It wrecked my morning a little bit. Like, needless to say, this seems to be like those were the best parts of the movie. It happens what, 3 times, 4 times?
4 times. I want to say 4 times. Don't forget Preacher's wife, that tit flash.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
The tit flash.
The unnecessary.
As her throat gets slit because these are awful people.
And that tit flash was literally, ha!
Yeah.
What the fuck?
If you blinked, you missed it.
There were 2 things. That's actually one scene where I tried to piece together in my mind why it was actually filmed. Maybe he saw A Clockwork Orange and thought that opening scene with the gang coming into the guy's house and trying to rape the woman was so scary, he wanted to have something similar to that in this movie. Kind of like the random encounter with the dumbass waiter who thinks suicide's funny. They had the lines where it goes,
Bang! Killed? Who shot him?
He.
Who?
Him.
Who's him?
Himself.
Oh, he committed suicide.
Yes.
The only reason I could think why that scene was being filmed is because he was trying to make his own take on the famous Abbott and Costello bit with who was on first. I'm asking you who's on first. That's the man's name. Go ahead and tell me. Who? The guy on first. Who? The first baseman. Who was on first? That's the only thing that made sense in my mind. Beyond that, I have no idea what the fuck he was thinking with that dumbass scene with the waiter. He was trying to make a funny scene in the vein of Abbott and Costello. That's all. That's the only thing I can think of. It broke me. Congratulations, Samurai Cop. You fucking broke me. You actually got made when there are people out there that have real good ideas on how to make movies, and yet you're a living example that you exist. And some films never get made, but you did.
And have a cult following, a Blu-ray release, and 2 sequels.
2 fucking sequels. And one of those sequels has Tommy Wiseau in it as the villain.
Actually, they released a documentary about the movie last year, too. And it's on Blu-ray. It's something called Samurai Cop, the documentary.
Give me a fucking break. Every bad movie, I guess, needs to have their own documentary. Troll 2 has its own documentary.
Oh, my God.
Hell, and just think, I had heard that the second movie got funding, and then on top of it, they had a Kickstarter, and people donated to the Kickstarter to get the sequel made.
Did you donate to the sequel?
Fuck no.
Probably see your name in there somewhere.
I didn't even know the sequel existed until
you told me about it.
Yeah. And then
I forgot about it until I looked it up on Amazon.
And then sadly I watched it, and
sadly?
it was free on Vudu. So. And then and then I actually watched it through the whole credits. Why, I don't know, but then I saw the Kickstarter in the credits, and I said, there was a Kickstarter for this thing? But hey, kudos to them to have a fan base like this. I mean, just like The Room, it's
the action-packed version of The Room. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's the best way to explain this.
And I didn't even see this movie in its entirety at first, because I was just watching Chris Stuckman's review. I was just watching Fanboy Flicks, and I said, there is no way this movie is that bad. And like they said, and like we said, it literally fails at everything. Every scene you see, it's bad directing, acting, lighting, editing, sound. Oh my God.
If you don't have the budget or the talent to make a movie like this, because they had none of that. They had no talent. They had no budget. Don't make a movie then like this. Make something simpler, and maybe it would have been a lot better. But
listen, clearly they didn't have a budget. That means they would have to have money to pay people to, act well.
I'd be surprised if it was over $1,000 that they got to make this movie.
Is there actually, can anybody find a budget for this
I
movie?
could not. It did get a small theatrical release. I'm surprised it actually got one. I thought it was straight to VHS.
It got a theatrical release.
A small, minimal theatrical release, because it actually sort of made money.
It has to be something now, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Has to be. No, there's no way.
Because Matt Hannon said that there was no wrap party, there was no release, and Amir actually gave him some VHS copy with a time code on it to take home, and Matt Hannon was like, yeah, I forget this. But I believe he did say Amir got $50,000 for the movie.
$50,000?
$50,000.
They paid way too much. Way too much. But here's the funny thing. As we're talking about budget and everything, I looked up to see how much this fucking movie made. Over time, it has made $384,756. My brain's going, who the fuck paid for this movie?
That's
because
shocking to me.
I didn't want to pay for it. I recently just bought it through Riff Tracks for the live version because I was curious. So my dumbass literally just helped with that money right there.
It did. It deserves to not even earn a dime of your own money.
Wait, now wrap your brain around this. When it got released on Blu-ray, it was an Amazon exclusive.
So that means Amazon had to pay for the exclusive rights to that.
Yeah. And on top of that, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. It is fucking free on Amazon Prime.
So wait, you're telling us essentially if we have Prime... Hold on. We are actually paying for this movie forever. No.
So I'm telling you, yes.
I
think the other two sequels are on there too, and they're also free. I believe.
The second one is. The third one is not.
Third one is not.
I looked. Trust me. My brain was going, I should watch them, and then I'm like, nah, I don't got enough time for this bullshit.
I think I'd rather go for a walk in the park.
I think there's like Deadly Vengeance and Revenge of Samurai Cop. I think those are the titles.
I never read recently. I think it was 2015 and 2017. Whew. So it's like, yeah, there was a 25, 30-year gap in between the first and the second?
Mm-hmm. At one point, they said they actually thought Matt Hannon died because he did legally change his name, and his daughter goes to film school. And she said, Dad, you should really make a video about saying that you're alive. And he was like, nah, I think it's stupid. I don't mind still being lost in obscurity. And she said, no, you should do it. So he actually did make a video, and he was making fun of himself and saying Samurai Cop was so stupid. But he didn't realize his daughter uploaded it to YouTube, and he was like, what did you do?
I'm alive!
Yeah. But I gotta say that Matt Hannon, in interviews, he really is such a good sport about it, and he recognized it even during the filming that this was a piece of shit movie.
You can physically see it on his face in several scenes, like straight up just disgust. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said he did it on purpose so that he hoped that it wouldn't be in the film. And what did the director do? He put it in the film.
Dude, he put everything in the film, like B-roll and everything, just everything
to the last frame.
He could have shot an image of a dog on the street, and it would have found its way in the movie.
When at one point there's a guy, I forget what scene it was, but Joe's chasing one of the guys, and he goes to arrest him, and he trips over his own feet.
Yeah,
you see the guy running, and there's a dog from a fenced-in yard, running after the guy, hey, you want to play?
I didn't see that. I was distracted by the really shitty tattoo on his arm when he was getting arrested.
Oh my god.
It's a dragon tattoo. They probably thought, hey, we're an Asian gang. That's Asian-like. Let's put that in the movie. Make sure you get a tight shot on it.
Could be the katana symbol, which never shows up anywhere.
So they tried to use every stereotype in this movie. Every stereotype. Oh my gosh. Listen, normally I go on a rant. I'm like, I can't even rant about this movie. John did enough for me, and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed.
I'm learning from the best. I tried to think of in my mind how the casting process went down for this movie, because None of these guys are actors, except maybe Robert Zadar.
Would you really call it acting? Like, dude, Maniac Cop, he really didn't do much. He punched the
Bruce Campbell was in that movie, too.
It's Bruce Campbell. That's two different people, man. Bruce Campbell still has a career. Well, obviously, that's messed up.
I mean, you can make a career making bad movies. That's what kind of Robert Zadar did.
So you said that Robert Zadar and Bruce Campbell are in the same movie. Did they fight each other?
They had to have.
I think at some point they did, because I remember Bruce Campbell getting arrested for the murders.
They had to have done a fight scene.
I know he definitely in the sequel he does, because Bruce Campbell gets killed by the Maniac Cop.
So we got the Battle of the Chins in there.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it's like they had a flyer and just said, hey, you guys want to be in a movie? Come to this location and we'll put you in the movie.
Who's got a bigger chin?
Matt Hannon's agent said, hey, you might want to check out this movie, Samurai Cop.
Oh my gosh.
His agent...
I would fire him after the fact. Like, really? No, get the fuck out.
After day one, fire the agent.
They said Mark Fraser actually had theater training. Well, Matt Hannon actually had training as well. He did do drama stuff growing up.
Okay. Did he, though?
He didn't.
It's hard to tell with this movie.
Hey, it doesn't say how good he was at it. He had training. And Mark Fraser, like I said, apparently had theater training, and I believe it was his first or second early movie for him. And that's why he would look at the camera at times when he would get direction, like, you seriously want me to say it like this? And Amir would just say, yeah, Mark, just laugh. And that's why he'd do that.
Hey, counselor, we'll see you in court.
It's so cartoony.
And he didn't want to... I don't think... Clearly, they didn't have stunt doubles. And there was a scene where they had a couple ad-libs. And Matt Hannon says to Mark Fraser... Because Matt Hannon jumps over the fence and Mark Fraser crawls under. And he says...
Why did you come under?
I'm an undercover cop.
Wah, wah. I was rolling my eyes when I heard that. I'm like, please tell me that wasn't scripted. Because if it was, it's only all the more worse.
Well, it didn't help it any.
No, it didn't help. Nothing can help this movie. This movie is just a pile of shit, but it's damn entertaining. At least it kept my attention for the 90-minute runtime.
If you want a good laugh, watch Samurai Cop.
I agree. I mean, yeah, the action sucks. There's no tension. There's no concern for the leads. There's no vulnerabilities, no characterization of any kind. None of these actors look like they could have ever pulled off by being in a gang or cops. Anything. Even the lawyer couldn't pull off acting like a lawyer.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the lawyer. You know what? Tomorrow morning I'm going to file a lawsuit against you in the police department. The courthouse is still open for another couple hours. I remember that. I can't remember fucking names, though.
Oh, no. I don't think he's worth mentioning or worth remembering his name. No. Yeah, all in all, Samurai Cop is a movie that we recommend that you see one day. A rainy day. A day where the sun's shining, a day when you have nothing to do. If you like bad movies, if you don't like bad movies, just watch this one. Even if it's just this one.
It's worth your time.
It is.
Is it, though? I'm watching it the second time through in 2 days, and I still feel like I'm wasting time.
Part of you will feel like it's a waste of time. I did watch Lethal Weapon last night, and I was like, okay, this kind of removed the bad taste that was Samurai Cop, the movie. Lethal Weapon was the movie. This movie ripped off completely on so many levels.
Believe it or not, I do have a favorite scene.
I was going to ask. I was curious.
I'm sure I know I can guess what it is.
All right. First of all, I will say...
It's Peggy, isn't it?
Just get it out of the way. Peggy was my favorite tit shot. I will say that now because you guys know I was going to go there anyway. So yeah, I liked her the best. But my favorite scene... It gets me every time, dude. Even if I just watch GIFs online, it gets me all the time.
Wait, is this the nurse scene?
No.
Oh,
well, no. That was damn good, too. But I love the fight between Akamura and Joe Marshall, because the wig fucking comes off. It visibly comes off, and Akamura knows it, and he tries to put it back on.
Wait, is that when he grabs his head to like punch it? Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I see it all the time, and it's like you can see the cut hair and the wig come off.
I'll have to re-look that up because I don't.
It's a GIF, dude. I swear I sent it to you guys at least once. At some
Probably.
point
All I remember is mainly the face of Frank. The ooh.
Would you like to fuck me? Ooh. Do you have a least favorite scene?
The whole movie.
I'd say the 96 fucking minutes.
The rest of the movie.
My least favorite scene is the end credits when it ends because I want more. What's your favorite tits, guys?
My favorite tit shot was Red.
Okay.
Where it just cuts right from the one action scene after he kills most of the Harlem gang members, and then she just takes the robe off, and then she starts rolling in bed with Yamashita. I'm like, Red's a good-looking woman. She is. That's my favorite tit shot.
It's a tough call between Peggy and Red because, Jennifer really had nothing going on for her.
No, she didn't.
No.
It was depressing.
Yeah, the one actress that couldn't resist Samurai's charm, that stalker tendency that he has, following her no matter where she goes.
I killed the neighbor's chicken for you.
Pretending to ask her questions about the gang that she's involved when he's just trying to take her back to his place so he can fuck her. That's all he's trying to do.
Now, do you have a favorite scene, Johnson's?
Oh, God.
Because I know mine, because I mentioned it already, dude. That nurse in the hospital is probably the most awkward and out-of-place scene. But yet it is so damn entertaining that it's like, it is funny as shit. Between the interactions between Joe and her, and then Frank's fucking reaction on top of it, it kind of, I think, is the best scene we got going on here.
That is the most iconic scene of the movie.
The nurse scene. Oh.
I think even you can just look that scene up on YouTube, and I believe it's called Horny Nurse Scene.
Dude, that sounds like a porn, all right?
This movie probably was a porn at one point.
Just cut out all the good stuff.
Oh, that's probably my favorite scene, too. The one that doesn't make any sense at all, but my God, it's so damn funny. Just because a combination of the shitty dialogue, the fact that Frank speaks into the stethoscope that she's wearing, says, bingo. And Frank's reactions to the camera, he doesn't give a shit.
Like, he's reacting to something else going on, too. Just like, ooh. No.
I did like that she dissed him completely and just walked away from him because it was the one girl that got away from Samurai.
Yeah, she never comes back. You think, like, movie standards that she would have some sort of, comeback in it, be like, oh, he's going to chase her down. No, that was it.
Yeah.
Frank was going to chase her down.
Oh, by the way, Frank does that look in the sequel.
Why?
Of course he does. I wouldn't expect anything else.
They go to a bar and...
No, man. No, they wrecked it.
Yeah, and they're talking to... Joe's talking to some girl, and I guess she disses him, and he does the ooh. And you can tell it's on purpose.
Absolutely.
It's a nod to the first one.
Absolutely.
Because they even said they know you can't capture the magic that was Samurai Cop. I mean, really.
Is it magic or a curse at this point?
Dude, they got a career out of this.
Do they, though?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a small one, but it's a career.
It's a small, somewhat memorable career for all the wrong reasons.
They have a fan base. They have a fucking fan base.
They do. They crowdfunded the sequels.
And sequels.
Least favorite scene? The rest of the fucking movie. Jeff, your favorite tit shot?
I said it was between Peggy and Red. I can't.
Yeah, weren't you listening?
Yeah, you were too busy losing your shit over there when we were talking about this.
We're in a padded cell, just so you know. So of course I'm losing my shit.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, like, really, I can't even say anything bad.
It broke you too.
It's bad. All right, like, Honestly, it's good for a good laugh. Like you see everything. There is no. They just laid their cards on the table. Like, hope for the best. I'm all in.
This really is one of the greatest unintentional comedies I've ever watched. I mean, I've seen some pretty good shit with the classic guys like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd growing up, but this was a whole nother level of nonstop laughing, and the laughing that you get isn't just a ah ha ha here or there. No, it's oh my god, bust out, hold your sides, because you're gonna have stitches. And just the fact that they really tried.
Did they?
And they failed at everything.
Everybody but Matt, apparently.
Oh my god. Yeah, if there's one thing to take away from this movie, I'll say, is that in a weird, strange way, it is inspiring because, as I said, this movie happened. It got made. It happened. It was shown in a limited release, and it has a cult following. It honestly made me want to go out and start writing screenplays. Go out and write plays, because I know for a fact that whatever I could crap out in an afternoon is better than the entirety of Samurai Cop. I know for a fact it is, except the only person who might see it right now is me, and maybe I'll get lucky with somebody else and other people to go from here on out, but I know that whatever I try, what everyone tries, if you have an idea, if you have a movie that you want to make and you're inspired and passionate about, you can write, direct, shoot, and act in this movie better than what Samurai Cop is.
You could probably do it all from your cell phone. It'd probably be better quality.
You could. Absolutely. I want to know the film equipment. I want to know what kind of camera they used.
It was probably like one of the old ones where they had to fucking like turn it to actually get it to fucking work. Like
or the VHS camcorder.
Oh my god, that big fucking.
You put the VHS tape in it.
Dude, they probably did do that. I'm not gonna lie. I only got 5 tapes, guys. This is all we're using. You can go get more. No, that's not in the budget. Nothing's in the budget.
I literally have $5 in my wallet. Fuck your $5. This is my movie.
One take. Let's go. Oh, you fucked. Let's keep going. Next
No,
scene.
We've gone too far. Keep moving.
Do you guys have any other tidbits about the movie?
No.
Just the fact it made money. I'm still in shock about that. Yeah, the fact that like all 3 of us are damn near speechless, it makes it seem like
holding in our laughter.
Wow.
I want a Samurai Cop party now.
I want to be Joe Marshall for Halloween.
Oh my god. Batwig and all.
Yeah, that's the point of it.
Gonna be Yakamura. For no reason at all.
You're gonna shave the beard?
Yeah.
Get the Fu Manchu going.
Just get the curly mullet wig on.
Wait, Akamura is the bald guy.
He's the bald guy with the Fu Manchu.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the other guy with the fucking
Fujiyama's the one
I
with
told
the
you I couldn't
mullet.
remember fucking names.
Well, if you do Akamura, I want to see the wig reenactment.
Yeah.
But it'll work. I wouldn't have to do anything with my hair.
Make the poses, cross your legs, and just look like you have a constipated face the whole time. I think we're done.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Samurai Cop, congratulations. You made us all a little bit more crazier today.
And honestly, I don't think the show here did it justice, because you literally have to see the shit that goes on and hear the delivery of the dialogue and how bad the sound is and how bad the ADR is. I mean, some shit doesn't even match up at all. It's like a bad Japanese movie where the dubbing is shut up. That's all it is.
Maybe that was the whole point. He's called Samurai Cop for a reason. I'm still trying to figure out the reason, but
now we're starting to get philosophical.
We're gonna have to. My brain is.
What's the next step to go to talk about Samurai Cop? Who's he gonna fight next?
Yeah.
Himself.
Are he and Jennifer gonna be okay?
I think she dies in the second one.
Good.
And he goes away, and that's why they bring him out of obscurity.
Oh my god!
I think that's what it was. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen it, and
so
honestly,
it's very meta.
Yeah. And for some reason, Tommy Wiseau, who never met him in the whole movie, knows his name, and he's always when he's trying to fight him, if you want to fucking call it a fight, he just has this sword waving in front of him, and he's like,
"Hi, Joe. I was waiting entire my life for this. You think you have chosen one, Joe? You got that wrong, Joe. And now, there is no more room for words, Joe. There is no room for the words, Joe. No room at all. I tell you, Joe. This is my destiny, Joe. Joe, no one can stop me, but I can stop myself. But I will not stop myself, Joe. I own the planets. I own 25 of them, and I build them more. I eat them for breakfast, Joe.
He's got a Kato mask on. Like, what? Honestly, I don't even think Tommy Wiseau did shit in that movie.
You're tearing me apart, Samurai. Oh God. You're lying. I never fought you. Whatever. I don't care.
Oh, hi, Joe. I did not hit you.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I did not hit him. I did not hit him. I did not. We could go all day about this.
I think this is where we're gonna stop.
Yeah. I think we should.
Our pausing is now.
This destroyed us. I know John was having a pretty rough week, but I'm hoping this episode cheered you up, buddy.
A little bit. A little bit. It's good to have some laughter these days.
That's actually why I suggested it, because I was like, everyone needs a laugh right now.
We sure do.
Yep. More awkward pauses, just like in Samurai Cop. A movie filled with awkward pauses, terrible action, dubbing, everything. On that note.
Yeah.
On that note.
We're done here. We're wrapping this session at the Asylum up, and until next session, we shall talk to you all later. I can't believe we discussed Samurai Cop, but hey, it is what it is now. On to the next one.
The next bad movie?
Eventually.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if I could do another bad movie like this, because I'm literally speechless. That's how bad this movie is.
I had fun rewatching it again, but I need a break from it.
I think more booze had to be involved for me to enjoy it again.
It definitely is a riff track party thing, like I said. Could you imagine the fun that would be recording that for a show? Holy moly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enough. This is Colin Peters.
John Rochetter.
And Jeff Manfred.
That was hard to say.
I know. It was a bad movie.
Stay crazy, y'all.
I feel like somebody stuck a big club up my ass, and it hurts. We've got to figure out a way to get it out of there.
Please, somebody help me.